I give thanks
as a weapon against the black man and most of the world.
to my family, friends, and my people. There was never a time that I felt comfortable with the European holidays because I saw myself as an outsider in an inside society. And I hope you know what I mean. So, in order for me to be able to really, I guess, deal with my feelings, I had to learn how to create my own reality. And this is what I said to myself, even when I was a little boy. I give thanks for my family, my friends, my people, my community, no matter what kind of condition they're in. They're mine. And I love them even when I shouldn't, or I couldn't, or I wouldn't. Now, I don't want to get too stressed out here because a lot of holidays don't make sense to me. It's commercialism, and it's, for me, I appreciate the day off. But you see, I wasn't the one who fed you when you got here to the Americas and you didn't have nothing to eat. I wasn't the one in Africa when you got to the shores and they let you in because you were a missionary talking about the good book. And before you know it, we had the book and you had everything else, even our wives and our children. But I'm not here to talk about that today, but we're going to remind y'all every time I see you, I want you to understand that that man speaks with a forked tongue. And if you don't understand that, then you really got a problem. Now, today is Thanksgiving. I give thanks again. And I thank my ancestors and my Creator. But we're going to talk about something else. See, capitalism has been a tool that has been used against us. I mean, ever since we got to this country, seems like it. They may not have had it as polished and as institutionalized as they have it now, but I can see it. See, we can't see it because we love this place. We fought for this place. Our forefathers and ancestors died for this place. But there's a problem. You see, when you're born in a place, you will become that place. But you are still what you were before that place. You see, slavery is but the owning of labor. But with it comes the care of laborers. See, they're always looking to maximize their profits. They don't care about the labor. The European plan is that capitalism shall own labor through the controlling of wages, which is more economic power. And right now, we have the European perched on his nest on top of the world by running capitalism game on everybody. You see, this is the language that they speak. I don't care who makes the laws. Give me control of the money, the nation's money, and I'll control the people who makes the laws, and I'll rule from behind the curtain. And Rockefeller said it even better than that. He said, I don't need thinkers. I do the thinking. I just need your labor. You see? And if I could get rid of you, I'd get rid of you because all I need is your labor. So for anybody who think that they're locked in and you're not a billionaire, you got another thought coming. Oh, how I wish I could give you the words of my TikTok about capitalism and poweronomics. Now, most people, they don't want to hear what a black man has to say, even if they are on the lowest of the low of the totem pole. And that's because they've been trained since they fell out of their mama's womb of who to trust for information, even though that information is false. You see, we like falsehoods because we've been raised on that. That's our dessert. We love that. You understand? We have God in us, but we go to somebody else to tell us about the God in us. Like they're a mediator between us and God. I'll tell you something. The good book tells us that we are little gods. But the European tells you he is the God of this earth. But I got a secret for you. It takes a God to kill a God. Dr. Claude Anderson, remember that. He's tried to help Black America, just like so many of our forefathers and ancestors who've gone on. Dr. Van Sertima, Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Chancellor Williams, and so many others. Poweronomics is something that Dr. Clark gave us to hopefully help us to deal with a war that's already won by the European, and that war is called capitalism. And it's been waged on us, and we don't even know it. You see, one of the tactics of capitalism is to get people, especially poor people, to spend all their money on a holiday that they're not even included in. Just because they celebrate it, they want us to celebrate it. People told me I had a bad attitude because I didn't want to eat no Thanksgiving dinner with people I work with. I didn't want to celebrate Christmas with people I work with. But see, I knew I was a slave in that system. And so there's no way that the master's going to let me sit at the table with him and eat, dine, and joke around with his family and friends. Whatever he's doing for me, he's doing it because he feels like doing it. We were always relegated to the crumbs that fell off the table. Does not matter how many billionaires we have because we only have like 40 million people, 50 million people versus their 300 million. They only gave you crumbs. And you know, sometimes you take those crumbs and you act like you're so grateful. Every time I see one of our people bending down to get the crumbs off the table, like they don't have no type of manhood or womanhood or pride or dignity, they make me want to kick them in their behind. It make me shame. But there's a new spirit in the legislature. There's a new spirit with the Gen Zs and Xs and things like that. And you know, when you're going to go, you'll just have to ask the man, how you going to go? On your feet or on your knees? People get mad when you talk about Christianity and everything else. But you can't deny that God is in you. And if you think I'm lying, they call it the Ruach in the Bible. But you take away the spirit of man and find out how long you will be here. Powernomics is meant to be a missing link between the historical analysis of the problems facing Black America and the strategies needed to resolve those problems. Dr. Clark's drive was to understand why Black people live such difficult lives and are betrayed and mistreated by all elements of society, and it is personal. And what he means by that is our worst enemy have been the people within our society working for the people that are outside of our society. Let me say it again. Our worst enemy are the people inside our communities that are turning us in to those people outside of our communities who still control the majority of our communities. They've always had what they call rats, and they've always had the people who think they were doing the right thing because they don't want nobody to get hurt or they don't want this to happen. And then what they do is they put a stamp on that hanging, on that killing, on whatever happens. How in the world can a man like Malcolm X go to a theater or wherever he went, and they have all Black people in there, and a Black man can get up and kill him in front of all those people? Dr. Clark's drive, and God has assigned him to a skin color, and his team, his skin color team, is losing the fight. But he doesn't like to be on a losing team because he wants Black people all over the earth to be healthy, comfortable, enjoy their lives. Black people are so marginalized that most of them spend every waking hour of their lives aware of their Blackness, always on guard and alert for traps, pitfalls, and threats they must avoid to survive and perhaps get a few steps ahead. After 19 generations, Black people deserve to enjoy life, and they deserve justice. To fashion solutions that lead to those outcomes, Dr. Clark has researched and analyzed historical facts and current events to identify those factors that are injurious to Blacks. Then he drew from his background and experience to design Powernomics. This is a book. This is something that fears and drives Black men crazy because they fear a book. But you know something? You want to be so much like your master, but you didn't look at the master's mansion the way that you should have. You see, the master's mansion always had a library in it. Never read one of his books. He always accused you of stealing. You wanted to steal silverware when you should have been stealing a book. But you know, he just told most of y'all that you were stealing. We know that you weren't stealing. You were too afraid to steal. You're not like him. You see? You'll go in a grocery store and steal a candy bar, and they'll throw you in jail for 25 years. But when they steal whole countries. They steal the whole bank. They steal millions and billions of dollars. Yeah, that's Europeans. Okay? When they kill, they don't kill one person. They take the whole damn city. You see? You haven't learned nothing. As a practical matter, Powernomics starts where we are as a society. I know that Black people have made this country strong. I also understand that racism is so embedded in our system that, rightly or wrongly, we have to change our own reality and our actions Some of us from other races will help, but no other group will take up our cause. But this is our country, and this is where we must make our stand. I hope the reader understands that for blacks to challenge the concepts of immigration, minority, diversity, and multicultural does not mean that we are against other groups of people. But I don't feel like we need to be saying that anymore about how if we are for other groups or against other groups. Because if I am the creator of all groups, then I'm not going to allow my children to dictate a damn thing to me. Black people were here first. If you want to get down to it, most people scared to approach that subject. But now that science and Dr. Diop, who most of you don't know, has proven this centuries ago, not centuries ago, decades ago. Dr. Chancellor Williams also proved it. Dr. Henry Clark, Van Sertima, so many others, but they weren't allowed to write their narratives and to put them on a bookshelf or a library shelf. They wrote books, but the circulation was limited because they were black. Who you know black gets to tell their narrative globally. But you see, now we're working with global systems. It does not mean that we expect concentric circles of justice and that the people who built this country, black people, should be at the center of the circle. We are the nation's oldest and most patriotic population group. 99% of all black people were here before 99% of all other population groups. What is owed to us has never been acknowledged nor paid. We are the people who built the foundation of the greatest country on earth. But we are also the people who built the foundation of the greatest continent on earth. We should receive the benefits of our work and that of our ancestors before those benefits are extended to newcomers. Now we got a bill or somebody trying to make it a bill talking about white men have been oppressed in America. And yet you still sitting on the sofa and you're okay with that. Black people. Not only black people. Our sisters, Jasmine, and I forgot the name of the other sister that was on there the other day talking about DEI and how can a white man be oppressed. That means he played the actor and then he was oppressed because the only role I saw was him in the oppressor state. I saw the oppressed being dragged out of Africa, raped, diving off of ships rather than to be enslaved, working for no money, breeded like dogs, okay? Taking care of the master's children like they were their own, feeding your milk to them because they know that even though they call us subhuman, they know our DNA was dominant and theirs recessive. So today when you're eating your turkey and you are with your family. I want you to enjoy your supper and your family and your friends and your communities. But don't do it for the reason that some European tell you, because you're outside that circle. Do it for you and your people. Be thankful for what the Creator and the ancestors died for you to be happier than they were. Strive to be better. Also, if you're going to read a book, then write one from your narrative. Don't write it from your oppressor's narrative. Don't read it from your oppressor's narrative. And don't believe everything your oppressor tells you. But secretly, I believe you know the truth. You're just too damn scared to act on it. Happy Thanksgiving.